Well, back when I was in high school, the biggest show on television was this really lame drama show that featured three beautiful women called Charlie's Angels. Now, there weren't many guys that didn't have a poster of one of the Charlie's Angels on their bedroom wall. And I did. In particular, it was Farrah Fawcett Majors. And recently, I was watching TV and I saw that the Angels were having a 50th anniversary reunion. All of the Charlie's Angels stars were coming together. Now, this is 50 years later, and from the looks of it, many plastic surgeries later, but they were all back together, except Farrah, who has now passed away. So in this reunion, these three women are all in their 70s. They're all survivors of breast cancer, and they're very different from the women that I remember in my teenage years. Now, it got me thinking about the process of growing older, whether your wife is in her 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and how our life of porn affects our ability to gracefully grow older with the wife of our youth. Welcome aboard.
Ready?
When it comes to porn, are you stuck, spinning out, or slipping backwards in your life? If so, then welcome to the Finding Traction podcast, a show dedicated to those who are looking to gain recovery momentum away from porn and toward the life and relationships they have always hoped for. Now, here's your host, Vern Tomke.
Well, guys, let me just say it is my expressed desire to help you walk away from porn, walk away from the negative effects of a problematic life with porn, and move you towards a much better life. I work with guys individually. I work with guys in groups. One of the tools that I use, first of all, is the Circle Learning Platform, and it's free to join. You'll notice the sign up link is in your show notes, and you can get on there and you can get access to not just the podcasts that I do, but also a whole bunch of different worksheets that I've used over the years to help guys with their planning and their strategy. Also, there's information there about the 52-week video Finding Traction course. It's your first full year walking out of porn. And the first couple lessons are for free there. You can watch them and see if it's helpful for you. And there's also information on the Finding Traction groups that we start. Those groups meet weekly. I lead them, and I work with guys. We walk through the course together. And it's not just the material, it's the relationships, the mutual encouragement we get from each other as we walk together out of porn. And so if any of that interests you, or you just want to get together with me for a free Zoom call and meet me and hear a little bit more about maybe how I can be of help to you. I'm not a big pressure guy, but please reach out to me. My email is bandofbrothers.care@gmail.com. Let me say that again, bandofbrothers.care@gmail.com. Okay, let's get back to this theme of Charlie's Angels and living with your Charlie's Angel. Recently, I heard that Leonardo DiCaprio has apparently a tendency to drop his existing girlfriend once she turns 25, and then he takes up with another one, even though he's now in his early 50s. Apparently, there's even a countdown clock that you can find where it counts how much or how long his present girlfriend has before she's dumped. It's sad to, again, he's in his 50s now, and it's kind of a sad, pathetic thing to see a much older guy, hitting on a younger woman. A friend of mine told me recently how embarrassing it was to have her older dad go up at a wedding to one of the bridesmaids to say, if I was younger, I would so much want to be with you. And she just found, it was just so creepy. And even if we don't have that level of social creepiness, we can still live out those ideas and thoughts in our fantasies, in our actions, in our porn use. And I think most of us see that as a sad thing, not a desirable thing. The idea that we are looking and being aroused by much, much younger women or pursuing much, much younger women. And I think we see that as kind of a distasteful thing or a sad thing, because for this reason, when we started out with our young wife, we promised, or I think we did, to love, honor, and cherish them as long as we both shall live, right? Remember that part? And unless you plan on trading your wife in every few years or your girlfriend in like Leonardo, and fun fact, by the way, I hope you're really rich to support that decision. Most of us start out with the idea that it is a good thing to love and remain with one person our entire lifetime. And let me just say this, porn, and this is something I've experienced and many porn strugglers have experienced, our life with porn makes a marriage journey, a journey of longevity, a much steeper one. Well, why is that? That's a thesis I've made. The thesis is this, that porn acts as a thief. It's continually working to rob us of the ability to enjoy and age with our wives. Now, let me explain why I believe that is the case. First of all, this, porn fixes in our brain as an arousal template certain images, objects that excite us sexually. And for most guys, their introductions to porn and their diet of porn use involves younger women, college age women, women in their 20s, often usually pre-children women. And even then, often there's a use of airbrush and silicone enhanced women, anything to up their game. And most of our brains have been conditioned on that version of women. I mean, there really is I know there's variety, but there really is a set templates, and it usually involves younger women. And here's the problem. When our arousal template gets set, it doesn't change. We'll get to how it can change, but normally it doesn't change. And as we age, that leaves a gap, doesn't it? Our spouse becomes older, but our arousal template is still locked in an earlier, younger version of what we find attractive. And as a result, we get dissatisfied, right? And I see so many people that fight that treadmill. I got to lose that 15 pounds before I had kids. I got to get that plastic surgery. I've got to stay in the game. I've got to compete, right? And the treadmill is ongoing. Along with that, let me just say this. Porn does lead to an obsessive fixation with looks and weight. We scroll through looking for just the right person that does it for you. And usually it's a younger version, especially as we age. Now, I've got a brilliant thought for you here, guys. Every year, we get a year older. Brilliant, isn't it? And gasp, so does our wife. See, I present really far out thoughts to you. And every 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years comes with physical changes. I mean, as a guy, I gotta, I look at I go to the gym and I see guys desperately trying to find the six pack, and there's days where I'm now thinking, man, I'll just settle for a 9 pack. But, so you're continually struggling with this fixation on weight. I don't need to be a medical doctor to tell you how babies change a woman's body too. And again, I found it sad as I saw these Charlie's Angels, just how much plastic surgery they had used, almost to the point where they didn't even look normal. Apparently, you can't age if you're a woman and still be beautiful without Botox. So all of that is all part of, and we're struggling with this growing gap in our arousal template. Let me back this up. And there's been a number of stats which have shown the end result of this. And here it is. There is a marked increase in the level of discontentment and a decreased level of satisfaction that guys who regularly use porn have with their wives and their marriage. I mean, studies are pretty clear on that. The more porn you use, the greater your level of discontentment and the lower your level of satisfaction. Those are just the cases. And all of that makes it hard to grow old in a good way with the wife of our youth. So it's all depressing, right? We're all getting older. We're all losing our six pack, and I do really good at sit-ups, and I still can't find the six pack. It's in there somewhere, and I know it's going to emerge one day. But right, and in the same way, we just have this what seems to be a losing battle, and porn only fuels that sense of a growing gap, a growing losing battle. And it just sounds so depressing. So is there any good news? Well, I think there is. Our brain is able to change its arousal response. The neuroplasticity of our brains means that we are able to change how it responds. We are able to retrain our brains. For example, I know Doug Weiss talks about, for example, the power of eye-to-eye orgasm in rewiring a person's brain. And your brains can be rewired if you're no longer feeding it the old wiring. Let me put it this way. That hot college girl you met and married becomes and can become your hot mom, who eventually becomes a hot grandma. Okay, you get it? Get where I'm going with that? So, in conclusion, let me say this. This last week, me and my wife celebrated our 40th anniversary, which means that I have now spent more than half my life with this same woman. It's interesting as people have responded and young people have responded. I just hear that is so cool. I've talked about that a little bit at high school. They just said that is the coolest, right? And the bottom line is why? Because there's that desire and there is that belief that is a good thing. And let me say that I have seen, from somebody who is steeped in porn, I have seen the ability of your mind and how you see, even including your arousal template, to age. I know my body's aging, but your arousal template, your desire, your attraction can also age. more than any other, the verse from the Bible that has motivated this desire to continually play out this journey, to continually counter the effects of porn on my brain and reverse the process that the enemy wanted to play with my wife, is this verse from Proverbs 5:18 and 19. May your fountain be blessed, and may you rejoice in the wife of your youth, a loving doe, a graceful deer. May her breasts satisfy you always. May you ever be intoxicated with her love. Now that is something deep down I think we all want. Intoxicated and captivated versus discontented and dissatisfied. It's your choice. So here's to the next 40 years. We'll see you next time.